Guys, and welcome to the Tim's Sports Talk. We have another Thursday night recap today. The Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers, and Aaron Rodgers gets his revenge from the beatdown he took in the NFC Championship game last year, and he has a field day of 25 for 31, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, was sacked one time for 11 yards, but absolutely manhandling the San Francisco. The score actually isn't indicative of how bad it was. They got 2 garbage touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and Nick Mullins kind of padded his stats, 22, 35 for 291 yards and a touchdown, came late in the game, and because he was under duress all night long. It only is registered 1 sack for 9 yards. One of them got turned around because of a helmet-to-helmet hit, but there was so many pressures, so much. He was just looked like a mess all game until the fourth quarter when the game was already at 34-3, and they get 2 garbage touchdowns at the end to save the over for so many people. There's no reason why this game should have gone over, and I see a bunch of people in one of my pools. Everybody picked the over, not the under, and those 2 garbage touchdowns with like 5 minutes to go, and one was with 4 seconds to go, made it 34-17. But it was just too much for the Niners. They're so beat up. We all know this. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, you have of course George Kittle, Trent Williams is hurt, Raheem Mostert's hurt. The entire team is hurt for San Francisco, basically. Of course, Nick Bosa, ACL, like their defense is decimated as well. So very tough day for the Niners. But one player in particular made a day for himself, and that is Richie James. 9 catches, 184 yards, and a touchdown for the young man. Never heard of this guy before, but man, was he Nick Mullins' favorite target all night. He unfortunately had a couple of drops, so again, similar to Nick Mullins, he padded his stats a lot late in the second half, because when the game actually mattered, Richie James was not very good. He had a bad holding call, he had some drop passes, but he really turned it around in the second half. That's an amazing stat line. And only overshadowed by Davante Adams. Another fantastic showing. 3 weeks in a row, he's really killed it. 3 touchdowns last week, like 180 yards 2 weeks ago. Tonight, it's 10 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown. Absolute monster. Whenever there was a one-on-one opportunity, Davante Adams just crushed it. So good for Davante. Aaron Jones had a really quiet night for his standards because they didn't need him. Coming off a calf injury, they're like, hey, you know what? We don't need to really use you tonight. But he did have 15 carries, 58 yards, 5 catches, 21 yards. So I wouldn't say he was completely a no-show, but at the same time, by his standards, he's been averaging like 25 fantasy points a week. So this is something around 10 right now, maybe 12, 13 points. So really quiet week comparatively to the rest of the year. Yeah, they relied on Irvin, who had 8 carries, 24 yards. Not a great showing for Irvin. But they were like, hey, we don't need to use Jones. Let's just bring in the young guy. Jerick McKinnon had an okay day, especially with that 1-yard touchdown at the end. It actually really saved a fantasy day for him. 12 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. And also had 3 catches for 16 yards. So getting that bogus touchdown really helped his day. It looked a little bit better, even though he was already averaging almost 5 yards a carry before that final touchdown. Yet Nick Mullins had an interception and a fumble. As I said, he was under duress all night. He really had no chance. And it's really unfortunate because I don't think he's necessarily a terrible quarterback, but tonight the Packers absolutely destroyed him. Anthony Johnson, my boy Aaron Rodgers, got me 28.9 fantasy points. I'm in a high-scoring league, and in the league I'm in, I think he got like 49 points. Yeah, he hurt me because I'm going against him. But luckily, in 2 of my leagues, I had Davante Adams, who absolutely crushed it for me this week, and he's been crushing it for me since the injury. Let's go ahead and look at the team stats. 6 for 12 on third down for the Packers, 3 for 10 for 49ers, 405 total yards of offense to 337. As I said, most of those are just padded stats in the fourth quarter. Really, that's probably should be something like 180, maybe 200 yards. Got a lot of garbage points. You got time of possession 36.5 to 23.5 for the Packers. Absolute just destruction. This everything is bad. No turnovers for the Packers, 2 turnovers for the Niners. You had 5 penalties for 45 yards against the Packers, 4 penalties for 33. Not a lot of penalties tonight, and a couple of them came in garbage time anyway, where the game was already out of hand. So I guess the refs probably held the yellow flag in their pocket a little bit more, not too worried about it. So spoiled AFib Gaming, Jeff Hardy, baby. 49ers died worse than Cowboys' playoff chances. They've died in a very similar way. I mean, come on. Both are just absolutely decimated by injuries. You know, offensive line and Dak Prescott for the the Cowboys. Niners are obviously worse, though, because their whole team is injured. But I can see it now. Us Redskins fans are going to be like, oh, this game's going to be so easy. And then they crush us like 28-4. Yeah, we somehow score 4 points in a football game. Yeah, it could get real ugly. But yeah, that was pretty much the game. 34-17 ended up actually looking like somewhat of a football game, but as I said, it was 34-3 at one point. Not a football game whatsoever. Yeah, looking at the play by play. Yeah, it was the final 2 drives that they scored touchdowns on. 4 plays, 80 yards, including a 47-yard touchdown to Richie James, and 10 plays, 75 yards. So in 3 minutes, they scored 14 points, whereas the rest of, 50, it's a 60-minute game, so 55 minutes or whatever. Yeah, didn't score nothing. What did Jordan Reed do? Yeah, he probably got hurt again. Who knows? No, Jordan Reed had 1 catch for 3 yards. Aren't we glad we didn't pay him? Same thing with Trent Williams. Trent Williams didn't play tonight. Shocker, because he's always hurt as well. So the 2 guys that are always hurt are getting hurt. But I'm stunned. But it was 2 guys that the Shanahans drafted, so I guess they wanted to go get them. 49ers should have gotten that touchdown. Shouldn't have, you mean? At the end? Yeah, well, that saved a lot of people's overs on that touchdown at the end of the game, because my dad picked it 48.5. I had another guy that picked freaking 50. And yeah, you get 51 points on a bogus touchdown. 2 bogus touchdowns, really. The Packers defense really let it go. It makes you feel like there's a little rigging going on, but not really. Trent Williams was on the COVID list, I believe. Oh, was he? Maybe you're right. Okay. Ayuk, Deebo Samuels, Trent Williams placed on COVID-19 list. Okay, I gotcha. I'm surprised with that many COVID that this game was even played. No, the one they called a drop. Oh, yeah, hold on. I gotta watch that play again. Crap. I'm struggling to remember exactly what that play was. The man lost the ball when he hit the ground, and he had control until he hit the ground. Was his feet on the ground, though? No, I don't remember. Crap. I gotta look it up. At what point in the game was that spoiled? Tell me again. Both feet hit the ground before the ball came out. I gotcha. Where was that? What quarter was that in? I think Steven Sims might play Sunday. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. He's been practicing. The one when the 49ers took their 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me go back and look at that. The field goal. It was with about... Yeah, here it is. 3rd and goal from the 4 with about 51 left in the first. Let's go back and watch that. Here it is. All right, let's watch this bad boy. Uh-oh. Timeout. Man, that was pretty quick. I don't know, dude. You think that's a... Let's see here. There's one. Oh, yeah, he tucked it away. Oh, yeah, that's a touchdown. I agree. 100% that's a touchdown. What in the world were they thinking? He tucked it away, got both feet down in bounds. And they overturned that? Yeah, the ground can't cause an incomplete pass anymore. Wow. Yeah, the Niners were robbed early in this game. I don't know if it would have changed anything because the rest of the game, Nick Mullins looked like he was running for his life. They couldn't run the ball all that. I mean, I guess McKinnon ran okay. The refs need to work full time. Uh-oh. Hail to the Redskins. The 2020 election's rigged. Not to make this political at all, I promise. Just telling facts. They talk about how there's only, like, even if it's, like, there's some rigging, quote-unquote, going on, it's at most maybe a few hundred ballots in each state. It's nothing crazy. That first TD could have gotten them a confidence boost, maybe, but Aaron Rodgers was on a whole nother planet today. I mean, he could do whatever he wanted at will, and there was no stopping Rodgers today. And, yeah, Nick Mullins was not keeping up with a Rodgers that is going to go 4 touchdowns, 300-plus yards, and basically do whatever the heck he wants. A-Rod Eagles MVP, probably not over Russell Wilson. I don't know. It's between him and Russell Wilson. Maybe Pat Mahomes can make some noise. It's those three, I think, are the front runners at this point. Kyler has the stats that maybe he can do something, but maybe he has too many interceptions comparatively. Because if you look at his like rushing ability as well, I know fantasy-wise he was the number 1 fantasy player for a while. Look at Kyler Murray's stats. I wonder, because they're not bad either. They're 5-2 right now. Just beat the Seahawks not too long ago. Yeah, probably too many interceptions. 1,847 yards, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But if you look at his rushing yards on top of those stats, where's that put him at? See all passing, rushing. He has 65 carries, 437 yards, and 7 touchdowns on the ground. So you combine he's at 20 touchdowns when you combine throwing and running, and then also the 437 yards on the ground. Kyler is an interesting sleeper at the MVP. I traded CMC for Gibson in fantasy. Oh, God. Did you get CMC or did you get Gibson? I hope this is not a money league if you got Gibson. Who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. But this shows that the refs need to do a better job. They cost too many teams games. Not this game. Others. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I can't stand refs. I've always had me and refs always fought with me growing up. But I hear you. Like, you would love to see a better turnout by the refs, because basically what I want to see out of a ref, okay, because I know they're going to make mistakes. I just want consistency. And when refs are not consistent, that's what drives me up a wall, okay? And what's not consistent is 2 feet in, tucks the ball away, and hits the ground. I've seen players catch the ball, tuck it away or try go to tuck it away, not even completely tuck it away and have 2 feet on the ground and somebody knocks it out of their hand and they still call it a touchdown. So how is that a touchdown? But that play wasn't a touchdown. So when you don't have inconsistency, or when you don't have consistency, I should say, that's what makes me just like, bruh, so it really sucks. Perfect. They say it's your job to call a clean game, not a bad one. Yeah, I mean, especially when you, what absolutely frustrates the bejesus out of me is when they replay it and they still get it wrong. How do you get it wrong when it's a replay? You get to watch it in super slow motion and see what's going on. Like, I know at first glance, I was like, wait, maybe that it was an incompletion. But once you got the other angle and you see him tuck it away and you see him going to the ground, both feet hit, and he's leaning in, and then, now the ground causes the incompletion, I don't know what they're looking at. It's not a money league. It's a normal ESPN league, but I traded CMC and got Antonio Gibson in return. Was it just straight up CMC for Antonio Gibson? Oh, God. Gotta love Redskins fans, or just team fans in general that want their players. I can't even tell what pass interference is because those are the worst calls. I mean, oh my God, you traded Antonio Gibson and CMC straight up. Oh God. If that somehow works out, that's just so wrong on so many levels. But pass interference is a very interesting thing. We didn't talk about this on Monday night because I didn't think much about it. Spoiled, do you think it was pass interference on Antoine Winfield Jr. on Dion Lewis? Anthony Johnson says 50-50. What about you, Hale? What do you think, Hale? Either one of you. Spoiled, Hale, both of you. Was that a pass interference on Antoine Winfield Jr. when he ran into Dion Lewis? Where you guys at, bro? You having a problem messaging in the chat? Is it not loading up? There we go. Lewis was coming back into him as he was turning his head, plus it wasn't a catchable ball, Anthony Johnson. He got hit before the ball came in. They would have given Tom Brady that with ease. I disagree, okay? Let me tell you why. First of all, you can have contact with the receiver, even with the ball in the air. You got to be making a play on the ball. And if a receiver jumps back into you, they're not going to call it as long as you turn to make a play on the ball, which he did turn his head towards the ball. He turned his head before he went to turn his head before the ball hit his arm. He was making a play on the ball. It just was so quick. There wasn't the whole literally he dove at the ball and tried to catch it. Now, also it was first of all bang bang, but that call would have just been bailing out a horrible, horrible, horrible play by the offense. Because it basically, what you're saying is the offense can do things that are so bad that puts the defender in such an impossible situation that you can call a penalty on that play. There was nothing else Antoine Winfield could have done on that play. Because if it was actually thrown in the right spot, Antoine Winfield would have had to run full speed and dive to try to make a play on the ball. So that's what he's thinking, because that's where that ball should be. But he throws it so late, so behind the receiver, and so inaccurately that Dion Lewis has to actually stop and come back in the defender. And before he even makes contact, he tries to slow up. You could see that he's doing this. He doesn't hit him or anything. He doesn't try to face guard or nothing. And then he actually turns his head at the last second, and then it hits his arm. I don't see why you would say that that's a pass interference, especially not an obvious one, because it shouldn't have been a pass interference, in my opinion. But in that situation, it don't matter. Daniel Jones had no business throwing it late. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you. I think that they need to relax on those types of plays. There's nothing the defender could have done. But that's the whole NFL league. Like, they threw the flag and want to pick it up. You know, how many did the exact thing and they still called it? Now they want to pick it up. I hear you about consistency. I just said earlier that I would like consistency, but I would like the consistency to fall on that not being a pass interference. Because just because there was some contact doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be pass interference. Like, if the legs trip up, you know, like their legs collide, that's not a pass interference. Like, body to body, hand to hand combat is not always pass interference. Like, just because people touch like each other before the ball actually gets there does not automatically make it a pass interference call. Like, if you go back to one of the Redskins games where Decimated Everett, I think it was against the against the Rams, where Decimated Everett, like, literally, I think it was Cooper Kupp, turns around to catch the ball on a hitch, and Decimated Everett just runs right through the back of him. That's pass interference. Okay, you're not making a play, you're literally just hitting him in the back, and you see him right there. It's not like I need to stop or anything. You didn't try to go around him or nothing. You literally just went right through the back of him. That's pass interference. Like, in that situation, Antoine Winfield had no time to adjust. He's running full sprint to try to catch up because it was Deion Lewis started on the backfield, like next to Daniel Jones on the left side. Antoine Winfield starts over top of him. Deion Lewis goes in motion. Winfield has to run around, and only way that he could even get close to him is a full sprint run. There was no time for Antoine Winfield to even make a move. Like, he would love to have slowed down, but it's literally, he sees him right there to turn to catch the ball, and he's running full speed, and then he leans back into him. He tries to stop, but there's nothing that Antoine Winfield could have done. That's my thing. People are trying to compare that play to the one when the Saints ran. That's not even like, it's not even the same ballpark. I completely agree, Anthony. It was close. I saw the play, and that was a close call. Man, hit me up, bro, when we can study film if we have free time. That'd be fun. That'd be cool. Maybe one day we could get on Discord and start doing things. That'd be cool one day. Plus, it was the back judge who didn't have a good view who threw the flag, and the side judge at the goal line overturned it. That's true too. Yeah, like, just because one ref throws a flag doesn't mean that somebody else with a better view can't overturn it. If they have the better view, and there's some cases that it's the opposite. Like, the guy with a better view called the foul, and then somebody runs around. Like, I'm thinking like basketball, when you have a guy that's right there to make the play at the line, and then you have somebody way down court comes running in. No, there was no foul. Like, you didn't see nothing. But it's just, there's a lot to that one. But anyway, so yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, I'm 100% with you, Spoiled 8-Fib, that was a catch. I don't know what they were looking at as far as that. He clearly got 2 feet in bounds. He caught the ball, tucked it away, and was going to the ground, and the ground caused the incompletion. Back in the day, 4 years ago, before they changed the rule, that's an absolute drop. That is not a catch. And I'm actually okay with either direction. Like, I'm okay with how they call it now, and I'm okay with how they called it before. It's like, okay, you need to maintain the catch through the ground. I'm cool with that. But they took that away, and now all you have to do is you got to get 2 feet in, and you got to maintain possession in the air while you're in the end zone. And if that's the touchdown, that's the touchdown. Fine. I'm actually really, I don't care either direction. If I had to choose, I kind of liked you had to maintain possession through the ground. It's a little bit more challenging, I guess, and I think that was like it should be. But at the same time, they changed the rule, and I'm completely fine with it. I say the problem I have with those pass interference is when the ball was not catchable. Oh God, yeah, absolutely, yeah. When it's not a catchable pass, they're very inconsistent with that as well. As far as, like, when is it a catchable ball thrown? And, yeah, they're extremely inconsistent with that. Refs call everything else good, but they need to practice interference penalties. Yeah, and it's sad that they got rid of the challenge to it. And it was just stupid how they did it. Because there was a lot of them that should have been overturned, but it wasn't overturned because on the name of, like, we only want obvious ones. And it's like, okay, well, like, I'm thinking about, like, the Redskins game. There was a preseason game, and it was clearly pass interference on the defender, and somehow the offender gets called pass interference, and we challenge it, and they hit our guy, and yet they did not overturn the call. It was right then and there. That was a preseason game of the first season that, well, there was only one season it was implemented. Like, it was like the first preseason game, and right then and there, we were like, oh, this is going to be a terrible situation. Like, what are you doing here? Like, that's a very obvious pass interference. But yeah, it's been bad. Anthony Johnson, even the head official dude that talks to the commentaries even said that was the right call to make. Yeah, I agree with the head official guy. And I don't necessarily always agree. I don't agree just because he's the head official. Like, but I just agree because I think that's the right way to call it. Because otherwise, it's just a bailout call for Daniel Jones. Yeah, I didn't even talk about it on Monday night because I didn't even realize it was a big controversy. It wasn't until the next day where one of the guys I work with, they came in and he was like, "You think that was pass interference?" I was like, "No." I'm like, what? I don't think so. I wonder why they don't use the guy above to decide more flag penalties. Well, the freaking guy above is a doofus too. Whenever they send it to freaking New York, somehow they come out with just the most weird takes that were just awful. That they're not even in the right ballpark after watching the replay. I mean, I'm like, you know, it makes you want to pull your eyes out. That it's how I may as well not have eyes if I can see that blatantly and you can't with replay slow motion. Like, I see it live in a play, or I sometimes I see it on a field, like when I'm in the stadium, I see it from my seat. It's obviously out of bounds, or obviously a down, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And yet, with these people with replay, they can't, oh, it's inconclusive. It's like, no, it's not. You can obviously see it. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, spoiled. It's just a crappy situation. That's why I hate refs, man. You have too many minds. Was it too many cooks in the kitchen, right? Too many minds trying to decide what they think the right call is and blah, blah, blah. And then that causes a lot of inconsistencies, and it's hard to frickin' play when you don't know which way a call is going to go based on the whims of a person. But that's a part of the game at the same time. You know, it's frustrating, but, you know, losing is frustrating, but losing is what makes competition so much fun. So, like, yes, these are the things that we get to argue over and bicker over and, you know, causes controversy. You know, I don't want it just for the sake of it, but at the same time, it's like, that's a part of the game. Then they don't see wide receiver pushing defender out of the way for open space. How you miss those should be an easy call. Yeah, a lot of times it should be an extremely easy call when they push off. You know, and yeah, when you complaining about pass interference is also like my complaints with like holding or blocking the back on like punt return or kick return. Such an arbitrary, silly call most of the time. There's every once in a while it's like, okay, that guy clearly held, or that guy clearly passing the blocking the back, but like these side-to-side ones or whatever, it's like you could probably call it every single play if you really wanted to. Rarely is a play perfectly clean when it comes to holding and blocking the back. Yet they seem to call it whenever it's like the most super inconvenient for a lot of teams, for my team in particular. Let's look at the Vegas MVP odds. I'm just curious. If you think about every play as holding, yeah, you could call, and like, but at the same time, it's not, because I agree with like how you're coached as an offensive lineman. I play tight end, so it's like to get under the shoulder pads. I think if you get them here, you should not be called. Like, if you get them underneath the shoulder pads and are moving them back, and like even if it is moving a little bit, that's where you're supposed to grab. That's where you're supposed to aim for. And if you can get them like that in a textbook manner, like even if it goes a little side to side, I don't think holding should be called in a lot of those situations. But it's like clearly when like somebody gets beat and they like grab them by the horse collar or grab them by their jersey or try to grab them around and they're not in position whatsoever. That's the ones that I'm like, okay, that's a call. That's an easy call for you to make. So number 3 in the MVP odds, is actually Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers. But I guess that's probably not updated after tonight. Tom Brady, though, is, what's his stats right now? Instead of making it 5 yards, make it 7, because defenders are having a hard time playing defense. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Spoiled. Explain that again. Instead of making it 5 yards, are you talking about defensive holding? Make it 7 because defenders are having a hard time playing defense? What's 5 yards? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. That's going to change by tomorrow morning. Oh, yeah, exactly. After tonight's performance by Aaron Rodgers, again, it was against a beat-up defense in San Francisco. But, no, not you, Anthony. I'm talking about Spoiled. He said instead of making it 5 yards, make it 7 because defenders are having a hard time playing defense. I'm not sure what you mean by that. That the rule no holding past 5 yards. Oh, defensive holding past 5 yards. Interesting. Very interesting. That's not a terrible idea. That's interesting. Yeah, make it so they can do a little bit more hand-to-hand combat downfield. But the thing is they don't want to make it easier on defenders because the idea is they want more offense because that's what sells. You know, having 50 touchdowns by a quarterback in a season is something that like people are, you know, just oohing and eyeing over and super excited about. So they don't really have the incentive to want to change that rule. Because I don't think something that sells to like a general, well, yes, defense does win championships. I understand that. But something that sells to like a more general offense is more scoring, more fun, like more offense, more things happening that way. Like a 3-0 game, or you know, like a 13-10 game is to a lot of like the general audience is not a fun game to watch. It's a boring game to watch a lot of times. So they more incentivize better offense. But I'm okay with better defense. I don't mind, but I think you see what I'm saying. No, I was talking about Tom Brady fans are drooling. That's why I said who me. No, I got you. No, you're fine. You're fine. Oh, that you're the Tom Brady fan. I see what you're saying now. Are you a Tom Brady fan? I don't remember you saying you were a Tom Brady fan. I don't think so. Anyway, I don't know. I missed the early 2000 defense when they play hard on offense. Yeah, there was, or even early, like, okay, yeah, I didn't think you were a Tom Brady fan. I'm trying to remember who you said you were a fan of, though. Rodgers, duh. You said that earlier because you said your boy got you 28.6. That's right. Yep, I remember now. But yeah, even a little bit earlier than 2000, like the 90s or whatever, or like maybe even earlier than that. When did like Mel Blount play? Was that like 80s for the Steelers, or was that even back in the 70s? Was he on the Steel Curtain? He may have been the Steel Curtain actually on that team. Shoot, Champ Bailey even played in a rule where and early on where it was a much more physical game. So yeah, that's probably the time you're thinking of. Yeah, Tom Brady fans are giving him too much credit. His wide receivers and defense don't get no credit. Yeah, I mean, they're the number one team on PFF, like as a whole. As when you grade the entire team on average, they're the number one. They have a fantastic team over there in Tampa. Man, that Rams versus Super Bowl a couple years ago was boring. Yeah, what was it? 13-3 was the final score. Yeah, people don't like that. That year, I was hoping for the Rams versus Chiefs, and we get a rematch of the 54-51 game they had on that. What was it? A Monday night or some Sunday night or whatever. Like that. That would have been a freaking blast because there was also a lot of defense in that game. There was like, I think Pat Mahomes had 5 interceptions or 5 turnovers, maybe 4 interceptions and a fumble or something like that. Jared Goff had a couple of interceptions. I think we had like 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns in that game. It was a crazy good game. Brady can only put up 7, and he can only put up 7, and they say he's the GOAT. For real. Yeah, Tom Brady is good, but the team he has is crazy good. The Saints were going to beat the Patriots too. FU refs. Oh yeah, because that was the game. That was the game. The Saints were a really good team that year. Really good team. I thought it was going to be the Chiefs Saints. Yeah, I may have predicted the same thing actually, Anthony. I don't remember exactly now. I did think the Saints were going to make it though, because I thought the Saints were a really good team that year. I don't know if I predicted the Chiefs to beat the Saints that year or not. Maybe I did. I don't know. I really liked Mahomes. Even like as soon as he hit the scene, I was like, and I watched him play like twice or something. I'm like, oh my god, I love this dude. He's a great player. D Ford jumped off sides after that. I knew they were going to lose. Oh yeah. I remember the fourth quarter with the Patriots Chiefs game. Yep, for sure. You heard every single Saints weapon is coming back. Buck fans, watch out. Well, you got the number 1 fantasy running back and probably the number 1 weapon in Alvin Kamara. I mean, he's such a tool to use everywhere around the field. Then you got Michael Thomas coming back. Yeah, it's who else is coming back? Was Traquan Smith hurt or something? I don't know. But Michael Thomas coming back will help a lot. Slant boy. Hey, man. He's good at it. Oh, yeah, Sanders. That's right. I have him in one of my leagues as well. I think I actually have him starting in one. I got a couple buys. Devontae Adams, dude, freaking killed it for me. Got 33.3 in one and 35.3 in another. Projected to win this league now. With that, that's big. People call him Slant Boy, but they can't stop it. Yeah, as I said, he's good at what he does, man. He is good at what he does. I have him in one league in this right now because I had the 6th pick, and I need him, man. I need him bad because I'm 3-5 in this league right now. I'm trying to make a comeback. Top 6 make the playoffs in this league, and I'm sitting at 7th right now. Tied for 7th. Actually sitting in 8th when you consider the points out of 10. So I'm playing a guy that's right ahead of me right now. So if I beat him, I'll take his spot. Let's see here. People call him Limbo. I'd rather have Adams than Thomas. Yeah, Adams is a freaking monster. Adams probably is the number 3 receiver in the league. I probably have Julio number 1, DeAndre number 2, and then Devontae number 3. My problem, Sean Payton deep shot play call needs some work because he make it look so obvious. Fair enough. I won my 1,000 from my league. After leading the league over 200, they gave up. Nice. They don't need to. They got Slant Boy. I'm going to have to show you the film. One day, if we can make that happen, that'll be fun. I'm going to have, yeah, Julio's number 1, D-Hab number 2, Adam number 3. I think that's probably right. DK is going to try to make some noise, though. DK is going to be interesting. Wilson and Breeze were too much. Wilson and Breeze were too much. What do you mean? Oh, that's what you had in your league. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, that's crushing. Wilson's got to be, what, number 1 right now in fantasy or something like that? He's up there. Man, I kind of want to... I don't really gamble like that, though. I may go ahead and throw some money on Kyler Murray. Right now, he's 1,600 plus 1,600 on the Vegas odds. You know, throw $10, you can win 160. Don't say DK. Chris is going to go come in and start saying some crazy things. I know, dude. I know. Where is Chris? He said he was going to be here tonight. This liar. It's like, no. They gave me a total 150 points from their performance. Oh, God. Jeez Louise. God, I'd maybe make some weird $10 bet on Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, his season is going really well, and he already beat Russell Wilson head-to-head. If the Cardinals beat the Seahawks the second time they play, and all of a sudden they take the NFC West, best division in football, Kyler Murray, he has an outside shot because he's right in the mix. Keenan Allen gave me 50. Oh, God. Yeah, Keenan Allen. Wait, how does he give you 50? Okay, like, what kind of league are you in? God, Lee, I thought I was in a high-scoring league. I don't think he gives 50 in that league. Hold on, let me go to my high-scoring league. What did he get last week? Who has Keenan Allen? Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen only had 21. What are you doing where he had 50? He had 50 if you combine the last 2 weeks or so. Traded for Derrick Henry. He gave me 30. Oh, God. Yeah, Derrick Henry's nuts. So how do you get 50 out of... I feel like you're just making up for numbers right now. I don't think so, especially if fans come back into the Seahawks stadium. You don't think that they'll win the second time? Is that what you're talking about, Anthony? You don't think they can win? I activate him against trash teams. I mean, there's obviously nothing wrong with saying the Seahawks can beat the Cardinals. I don't think that that's a crazy thing. I'm just saying if Kyler Murray and the Cardinals come back and beat them the second time and then win that division, Kyler Murray's in the freaking conversation deep. He's already, right now, number 5 on the betting odds. He only has 7 games played. So I don't understand. Okay, so how does this league work? How did you get 1,000? People just gave up and gave you $1,000? But who is number 1? Russell Wilson. In the betting odds? Russell Wilson, of course. He's actually minus 190 right now. And Russell Wilson should definitely be in the conversation. I'm not hating on Russell Wilson. I'm more just gloating on... I'm fanboying on Kyler right now. But yeah, okay. No doubt Russell Wilson should be in that conversation. And also, if Russell Wilson throws over 50 touchdowns, he's MVP. It's not a conversation, okay? But my point is that how can you have the MVP, right, when you go in against a guy that beat you twice and has some decent stats, like right up there with you? Not quite. I mean, he only has 13 touchdowns throwing, but he has 7 rushing. What is Let's see what Russell has. Does he have any rushing? Russell right now has no rushing touchdowns. So if you look at it, Russell has 26, which is a lot, no doubt, but Kyler has 20 touchdowns. So they're right there in conversation. Let's see what his rushing stats are to date for this year. Rushing and receiving for this year. He has 260 yards rushing right now. Russell does. But Kyler has 437. So he has like twice the amount of rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. Passing yards, what do they have? Passing yards, he has 21, and Kyler has 1,800. They're right there in the conversation. The points total up week after week. Oh. I see. Keenan Allen gave you $50 because you guys put up $50 a week and he won it for you is your point. Okay, I was thinking you were meaning that he was saying 50 fantasy points. I'm like, how is that possible? But okay, I see what you're saying now. I got you. Wilson odds skyrocket with win over 49ers. Yeah, I mean, right now he has 26 touchdowns, which is pretty flippin' amazing. But let's say Kyler he has 13 right now. Let's say Kyler ends the year with, say he ends it pretty well. Like he gets on a hot streak and ends with like 35, right? And that's throwing. And then he also has like, call it 12 rushing. Okay? That's 47 total 47 total touchdowns. If Russell Wilson has 50 touchdowns throwing, and then Kyler Murray then beats him twice head-to-head and wins his division, and then let's call it, so he's about halfway through his 20. Let's call it Russell Wilson also has 5,100 yards, and Kyler Murray has like 4,700 yards, right, on the season. But then Kyler Murray has, call it, 950 rushing yards on 12 touchdowns, where Russell Wilson has maybe, let's say, 500, like 550. It's interesting. All right, so points up total. Now my family did hate me for drafting Wilson and Breeze. They let Breeze fall to the bottom. I was called an idiot for drafting 2 QBs. I drafted 2 QBs in a couple leagues. Like, I drafted Big Ben late in a couple of leagues, which is nice. For fantasy points, Allen gave me 20. I got you. My QBs carried me. Fair enough. Yeah, Russell Wilson's definitely going to carry you. There's no doubt about it. How's Drew Brees looking this year? I don't even know. Drew Brees is QB number 17 with the bye week. Okay, he's just like consistent. You know, he doesn't go off, but he's just really consistent, which is nice. Like he hasn't had under 20 fantasy points in this league yet, which is nice. Having consistent week to week is really good. Freaking Russell Wilson, though, on the other hand, holy crap, he hasn't had under 30 in this league. Oh my God. You know, I'm curious. What does this compare to game log wise? Peyton Manning 2013. Or was it, when was this? 2013 is when they won the Super Bowl. Hold on, right? No, they won Super Bowl 2015. I thought 2013 was when he had that crazy year. Oh yeah, okay, this is 2015. All right, 2013. Here we go. Okay, let's see how this compares. So you had in the first 7 games, you had 7, 9, 7 plus 2 is 9, 3, 12, 16, 20, 22, 25. So wow, Peyton Manning, when he had that crazy 55 touchdown year, had 25 touchdowns after 7 weeks. Right now, Russell Wilson after 7 weeks has 26. Interesting. That's all I need. Someone consistent to keep up the points going up. Yeah, for real. I have to start looking at fantasy next year already. Good grief. 2013, they got trashed by the Seahawks. Yeah, but I was just looking at his stats for the year. So right now, Russell Wilson is pacing Peyton Manning's amazing 2013 year. Yards wise, I don't know if he's pacing yards. Probably not yards. What's up, Infinite Space? How you doing, man? What's Russell Wilson's total yards so far? Total yards is 2,200, I think it said. So far, he has on the season 2151. Okay. Let's add up these real quick for Peyton. I'm just curious. You have 462. That game was nuts against Baltimore. 462, 307, 374, 327, 414, 295, and 386. Wow. Peyton Manning had 400 more yards. Wow. Did you hear about the Raiders fine? Dumb. Yeah, they lost a draft pick, too. They lost the 6th-round draft pick for COVID violations. I can't believe people really say Lamar is better than Wilson. Yeah, not even close. I've been saying that even last year during Lamar's MVP season last year. I've been telling my buddy Daryl, who's a big Ravens fan, that Russell Wilson's better. But who is better, in my opinion, is I think that Pat Mahomes is better than Russell Wilson. Might be an unpopular take, but I still think Pat Mahomes is a monster. I can't believe. No, sorry. My friend who made that Cowboys bet. Yeah, I remember you saying that. I sold him my other league for $500, and I'm in 3rd place on that one. What do you do? This is a wild life you live. That's funny. Did you hear that the Raiders? Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Raiders are they're in real bad trouble, I guess, because I guess the masks and things like that, or I don't know what else they've done to deserve such a hefty fine. But yeah, the Raiders are really bad. Juju also got fined for showing too much leg. What are you talking about? Juju also got fined for showing too much leg. You're funny. I don't even know what that means. Unless you're literally saying he showed his leg. What do you mean? Oh, God. For his socks during NFL? What? Juju Smith-Schuster gets fined $5,000 for his socks. What does that even... Why? What? Failed to wear socks that pulled up all the way to his pants. Literally showing too much leg. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, 2 people behind him are showing leg. What in the world is going on with this world? Look at this. This one. Look. He's freaking showing leg. This guy. This guy. This guy. What are we doing here? They didn't come up to the pants. They didn't come up to their pants. What is going on? What do we got here? Ravens fans finally accept that Mahomes is better than Lamar after he is 3-0 against Lamar and won a Super Bowl before him. For real. Redskins are going 11-5. I'm with you. I'm with you, DRG. Super Bowl 55 champs. I'm calling it now. That would be amazing. It's a cheap league. If you win 500, if you win, so I didn't lose anything. Then why did he buy you? I sold in my other league for 500. Oh, okay. So you didn't sell it to him for 500, but you can win 500. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm sorry. That makes sense. Super Bowl 55 champs. Calling it. I like it, DRG. I'm with you. I'm with you. With you. This is my last year's doing fantasy. I'm starting to get deep into it. I'm done. Yeah, I'm in 4 leagues right now, and it's hefty. These fines are getting out of hand. Exactly. I saw that picture showing the Tennessee players showing leg. I mean, that's amazing. Like, that's an incredible image right there that he's getting fined $5,000 for that. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I won't understand it. I don't. I don't know. I don't understand. Excuse me. All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? We've been here about an hour. Dude, got to get up in the morning and go to work. God. Yeah. Yeah, didn't he wear like an Apple Watch? Star receiver Richie Mill. No, it was a $350,000 watch. It wasn't an Apple Watch. Holy shit. Yeah, that's a wild one. Wild finds here. But all right, guys, it was fun. Thanks for. I know some of you just showed up, but I'm sorry. I gotta hit the hay. But it was fun. Hey, go back and watch the video, dude. Like the video, watch the video, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Share it with your friends. Help me out. Get your friends to subscribe to the channel, even if they don't watch. Just hit the subscribe button. It helps a lot. Okay, got a couple other comments. The same game, I believe, is when he got choked out. Oh, God. I'm the only guy, and I mean, I hate Tom. And I'm the only guy, and I mean it. I hate Tom Brady. I don't hate Tom Brady, but I'm not the biggest fan. Kyle Allen passes for 4,500 yards and 60 touchdowns. Yeah, that's something that we need to go to bed on. Right there. That's something we got to go to bed on. Kyle Allen passes for 4,500 yards and 60 touchdowns. Drop the mic. No, that's funny. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And what's the next time I'll see you? I will see you after the Redskins-Giants game. All right? And hopefully we are celebrating a nice Redskins W. That'd be huge. Go get some Chinese food. That ain't happening. I'm hitting the hay. Thanks, Bold. Thanks, guys. Till next time. See ya!